Well, hello everyone. It's been a while. Happy belated Thanksgiving. I kind of wanted to share my views on things have changed a lot. They've been changing a lot over the last year, in particularly for those who have followed me, on social media. So, what I wanted to share was, I used to be all about tough love, not super strict tough love because there's definitely different levels, but I did buy into what the industry told me because this is what families we trust these people, right? They're the professionals, or they should be, and I bought into it. I thought my daughter needed to hit rock bottom in order for her to get better, because that's what they tell you. They have to hit rock bottom. Well, my views have really changed a lot. And what changed my views was when I stopped trusting the addiction treatment industry. And those, you could go back several podcasts and listen. It's kind of been a process. And I was so naive in the beginning and my eyes were not open. And now that I have a better understanding, I finally am going with my mom gut and not what this industry has told me to do. So, one day when I was driving in my car, I had this overwhelming feeling of emotion. I can't even begin to describe it. I teared up and I felt this strong urge that I needed to invite my daughter to Thanksgiving, my daughter who is in active drug use currently. Of course, I had to run this past every single family member that this potentially could impact because there was no way to know how this would go. So the first person I reached out to was my mom. And of course, my mom was fully supportive of it and she felt the same way. I then sat down with each child individually because I didn't want them to feel pressure to agree to something they did not feel comfortable with. Each child except for my grandson. And they all agreed. They were okay with having her come for Thanksgiving. And my husband was very supportive of it. So with that, of course, I asked my daughter, and I think she was in shock. I asked her, and of course she agreed to come. With her permission, I hired a photographer to do family pictures because I haven't had family pictures in, almost 5 years. And because I always made the decision that, the only way I could have family pictures done would be if my daughter wasn't in active drug use. But I wasn't meeting her where she was. And I know so many others feel that way, that you can't have them in your home because they're going to steal from you. They're going to rob you, and they're going to ruin the holiday. Let me tell you, I naturally had these fears, but my gut was so strong, and I am so glad I went through with it. My family had the best Thanksgiving that we have ever had, and that was with my daughter in active drug use. She looked rough. The pictures don't really show it, but she did. We did everything we could to try to make her feel comfortable and feel beautiful in that situation. But oh my gosh, the family pictures, it was the most relaxed any family session has ever gone. We got probably over 50 pictures within 30 minutes, and we had fun doing it. There were so many laughs. There were happy tears. Of course, there were sad tears. When you see your daughter in, that state, it's heartbreaking. It really is. But the one thing I regret is I didn't do it sooner. I've talked a lot about this on my social media recently because I understand. I say you have to do what you can live with as a loved one, okay? If there is violence that's taking place, any form of abuse from the person in active use, no. You do not need to tolerate that. And I just want to make that clear. There is mutual respect on my side and my daughter's side, we healed a lot over the last 4 years. Now, we had the most toxic relationship ever, 4 years ago, 2 years ago. And we have managed to heal a lot through this, even through her active drug use. But a lot of that is because I took accountability for the role that I played. And with that came a lot of healing. But no, not every family situation is going to be like mine, and I understand that. But I just want you guys to know that there is hope. There is this agenda for some reason that gets pushed that, if they're in active addiction, they're not human, they're not themselves. Yes, my daughter was in active addiction. Yes, there were things that were annoying about the behavior because, she was on drugs, but it was still my daughter. My daughter cried, she laughed with me, and I had the opportunity, my kids had the opportunity, her son had the opportunity to make lasting memories. Because any of us were not promised tomorrow. Any of us could lose our life at any time. And I took in everything that day. We had to celebrate ours the Sunday before because, I work in the hospital. And so that's how I was able to have a photographer present on our Thanksgiving. I have pictures on my social media, on my Instagram. And like I said, like so many people are like, oh my God, she looks good. You wouldn't know that they were in active use. She does look good in the pictures. In person, she looks like she's struggling. But my grandson, I was really worried about him. He was really our number one concern, and how he would handle when she left. And he was sad. He was. But when I actually had her in the car heading to the house, that was when I called him and told him that he was going to get to see his mom. Just in case something happened, I didn't want to disappoint him. So he didn't find out until a couple of hours before he actually saw her. And he had a hard time understanding why Mommy had to leave. That was challenging. I thought he would end up being in a real bad mood the next day. He has been so happy. It really improved his mood. And so I am hoping that we will be able to have her present for Christmas also, and maybe trying to do at least like a family dinner monthly where she can come and be present until she decides, she's going to be tired of living this life. I've talked to thousands of people in recovery, and, treatment is not the answer. A desire to want to quit using and be done using is what works. Treatment could give them a place to detox. It can separate them from an environment. But families, you have to understand that treatment is not what keeps them sober. They keep themselves sober. It's up to them every day. They wake up and they choose recovery. And it really upsets me when I have so many people in my comments who are in recovery. They give credit to facilities. They give credit to their parents. They never give credit to themselves. And I'm like, it's okay to thank those people. I'm like, but you need to be thanking yourself. You're the reason you're sober right now. Don't give that credit to anybody else but yourself. And I mean that. If anybody in recovery is listening, you deserve that credit because that's not easy. And so yeah, life otherwise, life has been good. I've been busy doing my job in the ICU. I absolutely love it. I love my career. But I've really been pulled and drawn to considering trying to open a treatment facility. The problem is I don't think I ever want to leave ICU medicine. And I also think that opening a facility, I don't know if I can open one that will even meet my expectations. Insurance is a bitch, and the type of therapies I want to provide, I don't want to do this individual therapy once a week. No, that's a joke. These people need, aggressive, intensive therapy when you have them with you. And we need trauma therapy individualized at least 3 to 4 days a week. And, it needs to be individualized plans. I want to have a place that offers MAT, and I want it to be evidence-based. I want to participate in studies. I want to keep true data because I want to know if I'm a part or own a facility, I want to know where we're succeeding and where we are failing and how we can improve. The problem is this is a $42 billion industry that is projected to be a $52 billion industry in the next 2 years. And these facilities don't care about improving because there's nobody holding them accountable. They're not required to participate in studies. They're not required to care because they get paid either way. And that's gross. I want to create something that is the gold standard. I want to create something that I can go before the government and be, this is what is happening in the industry, this is what is wrong, and this is what needs to change. There are just some really bad players in this industry, and it is very, very disappointing and disgusting. And as a healthcare worker, a provider, and the amount of ethics that I hold myself accountable to, the fact that people own these places, run these places, and have zero ethics is just disgusting, and they should be shut down. When parents are depleting their retirements, taking out second mortgages on their homes, and they send their loved one to what looks like a place that's going to help them when really they're not being offered anything other than free AANA treatment, inpatient, but these families are being charged $30,000 to $40,000 a month for something that could be given free. And I also want to tell people, treatment facilities, they will do everything they can to justify your loved one requiring inpatient because they're going to make a lot more money putting them through detox and having them go inpatient and through the whole, PHP, IOP. Not everyone needs that high level of care. There are a lot of people I believe would benefit by just doing an MAT clinic outpatient with therapy. Not everyone needs that. But they're not going to tell you no. If you have private insurance and you're willing to self-pay, they will never tell you no. Or recommend you try that first. They won't do it. I want to change that. We'll see if this happens. Only time will tell. I have quite a few people in contact with me about trying to make this happen. If it cannot happen the way I want it to happen and it be sustainable, because what I want to take place is not cheap and I want good therapists to be a part of it, it's not going to be worth me trying. And I want to do everything the ethical way. But yeah, that's my life. I'm going to be going on a couple podcasts soon. When I know the dates, I'll let you guys know. Trying to get the story out there. Our story ran in the Daily Mail, which I know is a tabloid over in the UK, but I wasn't thrilled about that. However, it's getting the word out. That's what's important. I really want to try to improve the care that this population is receiving. I want to try to help families reconnect. And that's something else I want to mention as far as with how I envision a treatment program. I want families, aggressively involved. I want it to where families the two key people come and actually stay at the facility for a period of time. That is needed. Now, there are family members that are super toxic that shouldn't be involved, and that is going to be a case-by-case basis. But there is a lot of families I believe can heal. We're all victims of generational trauma, and families deserve hope. And I can tell you, if my family can heal, so can yours. You guys take care.